Last one. I promise. Since everybody's so thrilled with all these videos that are lasting half their life. I'd show all the wrestling collection, but that'd take forever and a day, and this is just one bookshelf. So I'm going to show off my shoot interviews, and then Denny, my brother, Amish Denny, his favorite television show of all time, the one that he cannot live without, Mystery Science Theater 3000. First off, apologize for the lighting. It's dusk here. Early evening, so. Denny, if you're ever in Ely, we may have a few things to watch. Besides these. So. Oh. Stuff is all jacked in there. I haven't really picked anything up of the shoot interviews in quite a while either, so. We'll go through the. For Ring of Honor, they have a straight shooting series. I've got. And fucking ain't gonna matter, but. Christopher Daniels. One Man Gang. Mark Miro, who used to be Johnny B. Bad, Father James Mitchell, Percy Pringle, who, Paul Bearer, Tom Pritchard, Brad Armstrong, Mike Rotunda, IRS, Jim Cornette and Bobby the Brain Heenan, AJ Styles, Christopher Daniels, Percy Pringle, Volume 2. Again, a lot of this stuff is collecting dust since there hasn't been much time recently to watch any. Punk and the Werewolves, Paul London, one of my favorites who I'd love to get the opportunity to see someday. Abby, Abdullah the Butcher, where he sticks a quarter in his forehead. Yeah, that's not that mint. Bullet Bob Armstrong. One of my favorites, gone far too soon. Mike Awesome. Love him or hate him, one of the best big men ever. R.I.P. to him too. Bad News Brown goes on about his judo. Olympic judo career too, way back when, in the 70s. He had some interesting stories. A lot from up in Calgary for Stampede Wrestling, and then the Rougeaus, the incident there, where Dynamite Kid and British Bulldog tried to punk out the Rougeaus, and the Rougeaus got revenge, and it's a story you need to hear. B. Brian Blair, part of the Killer Bees. Watched him in 1997 wrestle in Virginia, Minnesota. Just died, I think, the last year. In the original Doink. The Maniac, Matt Bourne. Chris Candido. R.I.P. Again, that seems to be a unfortunate trend. Crockett Era Volume 2. With 5 of them. Lex. 2 discs of Jimmy V, Magnum TA and Rocky King, 1-on-1 Cornette and Heenan, where again some of it, again, if you're having 3 or 4 of the same tandems, groupings come along, you're gonna get repetitive answers, but at the same time, it's like, fuck. Listening to Cornette, for me, doesn't get boring and old. Heenan, before he lost his voice, never gets old or boring. I mean, they're so full of knowledge and insight. Here comes the Axe, here comes the Smasher, their Demolition, Walking Disaster, another good one. DiBiase, which I haven't watched yet. $1 Million Man, who, for some godforsaken unknown reason, still has nothing released by the WWF on a DVD. Raven and Tommy Dreamer. Hacksaw Jim Duggan. Ric Flair, another one I haven't watched. It's like 4 or 5 discs. A thick old brick. I don't know how much of it I could watch, just knowing a lot of his stories. If you went through story after story after story, I think I could watch it. If it's just rehashing old, well, what happened here, what happened there. No, I want to hear on the road stories. And Terry Funk. Terry Funk. Gorgeous Jimmy Garvin. And these, I get the itch probably once every 3 months to look them up. Maybe throw up a couple bids and then just sort of pass on it for another, like I said, few months. Jimmy Hart, Mouth of the South. Another guy that's got a ton of insight, ton of knowledge. Billy Jack Haynes. He's an interesting character. There's one, he's got a conspiracy theory out there. I don't know if I mentioned this in previous wrestling acquisition videos, but about Chris Benoit and his wife Nancy, the former valet known as Woman in NWA and WCW, why they were killed. I mean, it's or what really happened, what he thinks happened, and it's just awkward. Honky Tonk Man, that's a decent one. He's got a few opinions. I'd like to meet him. Seems like I'd get along with him well, or it'd just be a ticking time bomb there. Kamala, who drives a truck. Like a semi, that's what he does for a job. Leatherface, if you have been a wrestling fan for a long while, or are a McFoley fan, he fought, I want to say Funk, in the 95 IWA King of the Deathmatch tournament, which really put Foley on the map and elevated Funk back into the spotlight. 2 of my favorite of all time. They are interesting. Kendrick and London. And they got some, they're some interesting people, I'll tell you that. Just you know you're goofy if you think, well, if I go on top of a mountain or I get to the higher up on a mountain, why is there snow? It should be warmer. Why? Because it's closer to the sun. Autograph, Paul London. When Paul London met Raven, who London is a huge fan of. That was interesting. It wasn't that long either. 2 hours, but I think the interview time was about an hour and a half. Buddy Landell. Still haven't watched that. Lex Luger. Still haven't watched that. Martel. I like him a lot as the model. As the wearing the cardigan. The... Oh, fuck, what the hell? The atomizer. The spray with the arrogance. I love that. When he was the WCW against Booker T before he tore up his knee type of face. I don't know. R.I.P. to the... No respect to Moolah, but probably the most dominant, revered woman in the business. Sensational Sherry Martel. Shawn Michaels with the coif of hair from the 80s. Midnight Express Heavenly Bodies. The Cat, Ernest Miller. New Jack, who's got a few of them. Interesting character, again, to say the least. And it's not really a character, it's him. Gang. One of my favorites. Wish I could meet him. He is, I believe, a prison guard in Louisiana, if I'm not mistaken. Another Percy Pringle. Oh, this is a train wreck here. PG-13. Jamie Dundee is a fucking train wreck. Jim Powers. Interesting shit about him, too, that... Oh, he kept on talking about steroids and all that shit. And Powers of Pain, the first time I'd ever heard really either of these two talk. So that was super interesting to me. Warlord and Barbarian. Two of my... I like them more than Demolition. I wish I would have got a bigger push. Butch Reed, The Natural. One of my favorites too, Jacques Rougeau. Another guy that's got a bunch out there, Sabu. Kevin Sullivan. Nothing Finer Than. Norman Smiley. Slick, who falls asleep during this one. Because it's, I think, 3 in the morning. Dirty Dick Slater. Bushwhackers, which I still want to watch this too, just to see. They went from the Sheep Herders, a violent team, bleeding and blading, to the Bushwhackers, who, I mean, are just morons. Sabu and the Sheik. And then, pardon me for a moment while I get them. I love these. And if you are a fan of a certain era of wrestling, you will love them. Guest Booker, where they go through what transpired in, let's say, 84, that's when Hogan won the title from Sheik, what maybe Sullivan would have done differently. And again, some may say, it's stupid, it's revisionist history. It's a different point of view. Because obviously Sullivan wasn't up there then. So, I like it. I like these. And then the timeline. are ones I try to pick up. 95, it's when they basically go over the calendar year, bring up certain events, certain instances, certain incidents, and just ask whoever they're grilling what the thoughts are about it, and if said wrestler was involved, like the living legend Larry Zbyszko, take you to Larryland. Just what happened in their eyes. Again, it might not again be the whole what actually happened, but Morocco. There's one with Piper, I think, too. I don't know if he did the 80. I don't know which one he did. 82? 81, maybe? George Steele, who's actually a super intelligent dude. Used to be a high school teacher. Just super well spoken. Nothing you'd think of, again, from the character. Dugan in 88. This one I thought would be a lot better, and it wasn't. I was stoked because 89 was my year of. You got Twin Towers, Hogan and Savage at WrestleMania 5, and Beefcake just shit the bed. 93, and then that's what Luger looks like basically now. S-Pac. '94. Cornette in 97. Again, Jim Cornette, as abrasive as he is, I can listen to that fucker for hours. 98 or 88. J.J. Dillon. 91 Wyndham. And that's when Flair and oh, Jim Herd or not, they're all having their trouble. And that's when he dipped out. And Kevin Sullivan, 96. So if you ever get a chance to check those out, please, please, please do. And you're a wrestling fan. I mean, if you're not, it does you no good. Now, off to this Jazzmatazz. The movie, a Blu-ray DVD that came out not this past September, but the one before. The Essentials, and that has Santa Claus from Mars, or Santa Claus Conquers the Martians, and Manos, Hands of Fate. And sorry for the lighting. Take these down before I go kaput. The Hellcats, The Brain That Wouldn't Die, Beginning of the End, The Wild World of Batwoman, Red Zone Cuba, which is a great film. Manos, The Hands of Fate. That character is probably my favorite character of all time. Torgo. And then Iga. This is season 0 on DVD. On KTMA, which is a channel down in Minneapolis. I got that off eBay a couple of years ago, I think, for what I thought was a good deal. Because the first 3 or 4 episodes are ones that you just cannot find. They don't have copies of them or anything worth watching. haircut. So we go into season 1, which I gotta upgrade this at some point because there's a pull tab that a rocket is going across. And that's got Bloodlust, Catalina Caper, which is a good one, the Skydivers, and the Creeping Terror. It's gonna get repetitive because I'm gonna say that's a good one, but just it's a good one. Volume 2, Angel's Revenge, Cave Dwellers, Pod People, and the Shorts, Volume 1, which those are funny as fuck. Volume 3, The Atomic Brain, The Unearthly, The Side Hackers, and Shorts Volume 2. I have Volume 4, but I borrowed it to a coworker. That's got The Girl in the Gold Boots and Space Mutiny, which are two of my favorites. They are top 5 with Manos. And then I'd have to narrow the rest down, but that's where Volume 4 is. Volume 5, Boggy Creek 2, which is a good one. Merlin's Shop of Mystical Wonders, Time Chasers, and A Touch of Satan. Which that's just, it's creepy southern type shit from the 70s. Volume 6 is Attack of the Giant Leeches, Gunslinger, Mr. B's Lost Shorts, and Teenagers from Outer Space. Which that Teenagers one is. Ooh. Volume 7, Hercules Unchained, Hercules Against the Moon Men, Prince of Space, which it's a good Japanese film of just stupidity, and The Killer Shrews, which are dogs with like throw rugs tossed over them. Volume 8, Hobgoblins, which is basically a knockoff of Gremlins, The Phantom Planet, Monster A Go-Go, and The Dead Talk Back. There's the Hobgoblins. Nine, which cost me the most? So yes, this is the most I spent. This was like a $90 purchase. The Women of the Prehistoric Planet, Wild Rebels, The Sinister Urge, and The Incredibly Strange Creatures Who Stopped Living and Became Mixed Up Zombies. And that's a 60s one about, I don't know if it's booze and LSD and all that shit, but it's goofy too. Volume 10.2. As you can see, 10 has Godzilla on it. They couldn't use it though because they weren't given clearance. So 10.2 came out. If you had 10, you could send away for a disc in a package, not unlike this, for the giant Gila monster, which this one has, in replace of Godzilla. So the giant Gila monster, Swamp Diamonds, Teenage Strangler, and the giant spider invasion, which all you Packers fans need to watch this version of the giant spider invasion. It is worth your time. It's taped or produced or whatever in Wisconsin. So watch it. You will not be disappointed. Volume 11, Ring of Terror, Indestructible Man, Tormented, and the Horrors of Spider Island. Another classic. Indestructible Man has Lon Chaney Jr., so any of you Lon Chaney Jr. fans. And I haven't watched a lot of this stuff in a while, just again, with work. When I make these videos, usually afterwards I just crash, so. Volume 12, The Rebel Set, Secret Agent Super Dragon, The Starfighters, Parts, The Clonus Horror, which I don't know if I've watched it lately at all. Volume 13, that's when they switched over from Rhino to Shout as the main distributor. This was the first one. I got this for a steal on Amazon, an absolute steal. I've been looking on eBay. If you look at them on eBay, they are probably at least 150. You'll see them probably higher in the buy it now. But it has, it's a tin. And it's got the crow figure. I hated even saying what I paid for this, or what I paid, because it was such a fucking cheap price, but the guy in the description said, limited edition in the tin has the figure. And I could not add it to my cart and buy it quick enough, tell Teresa what it was, and she just gave me the, whatever, it's so many money for such nonsense things. Okay, whatever. And but for $33, 28 shipped, something. I mean, it's $24.95 plus whatever shipping was. To get that, to get this for that, I believe I win. And there's the DVD. The first spaceship on Venus, Laser Blast, Werewolf, and Future War. $14, Mad Monster, Manhunt in Space, Soul Taker, another one of my favorites, and Final Justice. Soul Taker has got Emilio Estevez's brother in there, Joe. 15. I'm gonna have to go on the back. I can't read this font. The Robot versus the Aztec Mummy, Girl in Lover's Lane, Zombie Nightmare, and Racket Girls. 16. This was off eBay. Came with this. On the Moon, it's Bill Corbett, who does Crow, and I believe Trace Boulot, who is Dr. Forrester, signed this. And it's got the Tom Servo figure. That came at a pretty decent price too, compared to, again, whatever they're regularly selling for the non-autographed. I figured, well, may as well try to pick up an autographed one. The Corpse Vanishes, Warrior of the Lost World, Santa Claus, and Night of the Blood Beast. Na, 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 na. The music. Oh, such great music. 17. The Crawling Eye, Beatniks, The Final Sacrifice, which is my favorite of all time, bar none. Bloodwaters of Dr. Z, which Zap, I think, is a Zap? Zat? It's a terrible movie, which a lot of these are, but Final Sacrifice, that's one you want to watch too. Post haste. Rousdower. Rousdower? Another help in the felts? 18 has The Lost Continent, Crash of the Moons, Beast of Yucca Flats with Tor Johnson, and just a lot of him walking around. And a lot of voiceovers, not really much actual talking. And Jack Frost, which I think is Swedish. Some sort of Swedish or Scandinavian film. Which has high production, but just terrible acting. Again, for our standards, or what we're used to. And volume 19. The Gypsy, which is probably the easiest one to get. Or the cheapest, I would say. Wish it'd come out with like a Mike and Joel bobblehead. That'd be pretty different. Robot Monster, Bride of the Monster, Devil Doll, and Devil Fish. I know I've got Devil Doll on VHS somewhere. Anything with ventriloquism dolls, I'm not digging. Volume 20, Magic Voyage of Sinbad, which is another Scandinavian type one. It's great production value. I mean, it's awesome, but they chose to pan it. Project Moonbase, Master Ninja 1 and 2. And this was one of the first ones I got because it was so cheap. And everything after that went for more than I expected. MST versus Gamera. This is volume 21. And it has all their Gamera movies in the special tin. And this is one Naomi likes to watch, because she likes to watch the ones with the turtles. And as you'll see here, Gamera is a big old turtle. Gamera versus Barguan, Gamera versus Gauss, Gamera versus Guron, and Gamera versus Zigra. So I'll enjoy it. I think Christmas they had that on that El Rey network. Bunch of Gamera things and Godzilla, and I enjoyed that. 23, King Dinosaur, Castle of Fu Manchu, codename Diamond Head, The Last of the Wild Horses. Uh. 24. That was 23. I got 22 over on the table. We'll get to that. Fugitive Alien, Star Force, Fugitive Alien 2, Sword and the Dragon, Samson versus the Vampire Women. $25. Robot Holocaust, Operation Kid Brother, Kitten with a Whip, Revenge of the Creature. $26. The Magic Sword, Alien from LA, Danger, Death Ray, The Mole People. $27. The Slime People, Rocket Attack USA, Village of the Giants, The Deadly Mantis. Volume 30, or the 25th anniversary edition. I don't know if it's 30 or not. Moon 02, The Day the Earth Rose, The Leech Woman, and Gorgo. And as when you got this tin or whatever, the collector's tin, it came with Mitchell and the Brain That Won't Die on there. Mitchell is hilarious. Joe Don Baker as a spy detective-y cop. It doesn't work at all. I mean, it's funny as fuck because it just is so unbelievable. But and 29 here, Untamed Youth with I think Mamie Van Buren. Where is it? Mamie Van Doren. Hercules and the Captive Woman, The Thing That Couldn't Die, and Puma Man, which has a terrible scene in there of him flying like a Superman, and he's just sort of going like a teeter-totter through the air. Not flying straight like Superman would, just teeter-totter. Keep that in mind to get a visual. When you think Superman flying, teeter-totter. So here's volume 22, which took a while. It didn't come with the inserts, and that's bugging me, so as soon as I get that one, I'll probably sell this or give this to the guy that is borrowing our episode or volume or whatever for. Time of the Apes, Mighty Jack, The Violent Years, The Brute Man, 30, which came out last June, The Black Scorpion, Outlaw of Gore, The Projected Man, It Lives by Night. And this one I got for Christmas, well after Christmas, by the way. The Turkey Day Collection, volume 31. It came out Turkey Day, or the week of Thanksgiving. Jungle Goddess, The Painted Hills, The Screaming Skull, and Squirm, which is a good movie where there's a storm in, I think, Georgia. Knocks down electricity, but the wires hit the ground by a worm infestation, if you will, and they just start showing up everywhere. Hilarious hijinks ensue. So there's that. Put these back in the corresponding areas. I'm very anal about that. Very anal. I got this book. I had it in the Philippines, and I think I had it, and I had shit in there, and then that went missing. Where at? I don't know. Until it sits on the ground, it's under a bunch of dust. But I got another one for, again, that guy work with. It only goes up to, I think, season 6, which sucks. I was hoping they come out with season 7 through the first 6. Through the first 6 episodes. Riff tracks. I'm just gonna read these on the side because we're approaching 40 minutes. I got the VHS 2 back there with the MST3K movie. I missed out on this book, autographed by everyone. I think it went for $89. I had Clowns in the Sky, CD, and then got this, I think, off Amazon too. Kevin Murphy wrote a book, so I figured why not. He's part of the team. But the riff tracks. Pleased with their shorts, ordering the shorts. Shorts a poppin'. Little Shop of Horrors. Night of the Living Dead. Maniac. Handcrafted artisan shorts. Plan 9 from Outer Space, which is the worst movie of all time. Night of the Living Dead. Reefer Madness. The Galaxy Invader. Santa and the Ice Cream Bunny, which is fucking garbage. Best of Riff Tracks Shorts, Volume 2. Old Time Shorts Roundup. Voodoo Man, Swing Parade, Carnival of Souls, Planet of the Dinosaurs. Then the film crew came out with Hollywood After Dark. And these were from a library in South Dakota. Robot versus the Aztec Mummy, Beatniks, Rocket Girls, Bloodwaters of Dr. Z, and Final Sacrifice. So there's that. I don't think I've got some bumper stickers of that Mystery Science, but I think that's it. I hope. I got videos too. Um, you see the shine of the DVDs? Beyond there, I got videos. I got about 25 videos too. But at 40 minutes and Naomi screaming, I suppose I better go upstairs and see what nonsense she's babbling about. Probably that stupid tablet. I'm gonna take a hammer to that fucking thing. Watching the dumbest shit on those. I don't know what it's called. It's called Ben. It's like a dog. If you make a noise, it has some generated sound or whatever. It mimics your voice. So if you go, hey, and then it'll go, shit like that. It's stupid. But there's the Mystery Science Theater. I might have more. I can't think of it. I'd show those too, but nobody wants to see wrestling figures. I've shown enough. I've wasted enough time. Christ, every video, minus I think the Mike Walker, and he basically just has the 2007 cards. Was 40 plus minutes, so I hope you got some knowledge out of this. If not, I can't help you then. It just ain't in the cards. So enjoy, Denny. I know you hate this with a passion. I know it. I don't apologize. That's I think where our one thing, or flaws, or difference, I should say, that you don't enjoy this. I piss myself, even after watching them countless times. And of course, the shoot interviews, which now it's become commonplace to shoot on someone. So enjoy, and enjoy. Take her easy, YouTube. And if that perfection is, I can't even think. If that perfection is easy, take her twice. Epic fail. Fuck my life.